Hey, greetings out there in YouTube land. Love Them Knives channel, LTK here. We've got the SR22 LionSteel. Flanagan, Finian, hey guys, what do you think? I think you guys take a break. But what do you think? It's a smaller version of the SR11. Now, you had the SR1 and the SR2, which were not flippers, but they were basically this design. And then they came out with the flipper, the SR11, both in, of course, titanium and different colors of aluminum, which this is aluminum, and it's an integral frame knife. So when the SR11 came out, I got that in titanium right off the bat. I mean, it's just like, I got to. And I think it got awarded like Import Knife of the Year. Of course, LionSteel's made in Maniago, Italy. So it's an Italian knife. I don't know if it says Maniago in here, does it? It doesn't here. In any case, so very interesting knives. I got the titanium, the SR11, which is the bigger version of this knife, and I was disappointed. And if you can look up my review on that, it's still posted out there. But when I got the SR11 in aluminum, okay, it was much better. It was better. So I don't know what it was about the aluminum one. It was something about the bearings on the pivot that felt like they had debris in them and this and that. And being an integral, I don't think I pulled it apart to do anything about that. And I don't know, I just didn't like the feel of the knife or anything, but when I got the aluminum one, it seemed clean. So maybe I just got a bad one on the tie. But this time I didn't get the titanium one. I just went straight to the aluminum. And it's a smaller knife, but to tell you the truth, and I hate to admit this because I usually like a bigger carry knife, but this one, I really like this size. This is probably my favorite of the SR1, SR2, SR11, you know, and SR22s. This is the size that I like. This is really a very handy size knife. Where are you, Fancy? Let's get the Paramilitary 2 out here. Kind of stack it up. See, it's smaller than the PM2, but the PM2 is an 8 1/4 inch overall, 3.5 inch blade. You know, it's a full-size EDC. Now flip it around here. And so, yeah, it's much smaller, isn't it? Yeah, but it's still a pretty good handful. I mean, I got room for my entire hand on this handle. It's got a front choil here for sharpening. It's got the Schleipner steel, which is, you know, normal for LionSteel. And then I don't know if it's sharp or not. Let's see if we can catch us a piece of paper somewhere and carve on it a little bit. Okay. It's pretty good out of the box then. Pretty good out of the box. Okay. Size, what do you got? Just a little over 3, right? So 80 millimeters, somewhere really right there, yeah. And then almost 18 centimeters, 7 inches. So it's an 1.25 inches shorter, 1.25 inches shorter than the Paramilitary 2. So it's shorter. Basically, what do you want to call it? 3-inch blade, 7 inches overall. So about a 4-inch handle, which I guess we can live with because I seem to be able to get all my digits on the scale. So let's go back here again. Well, not quite. Not quite 4. Yeah, the blade's a little over 3, so I guess that's where the spread breaks out. But then you got a lanyard hole that goes through here. And I can't tell. Is it tubed? Yeah, it looks like it is actually up here. that this is enclosed in here. So, yeah, kick it through. Yeah, it is enclosed. We got that. Take a look through the knife. Here you go. It's an integral, so it's all augered out here, which is kind of nice, although for maintenance purposes, it's nice to be able to pull it completely apart. So it gets a little funky, I mean, and obviously you can take this apart, not a problem. I was gonna, which reminds me, of course, you get it in this box. It's a very small box. Come on, let's pick the paperwork out of here. Okay, there's your paperwork. See at the bottom of the box, they tape the tool in. So, you put it in these holes. And then the back is a little wrench that'll fit around your glass breaker thing. So you can unscrew your glass breaker and you can reverse this pocket clip to go left hand or right hand. So don't ever forget that. I can't remember. It was one of the LionSteel knives, and I never pulled the paperwork up off the bottom. And I'm going, man, they cheated me. I mean, hell, what am I supposed to do for a tool? And then I went back and read the paperwork. Not this, but the online stuff, and it says just there's a tool taped to the bottom of the box. I pulled it out and going, oh my God. So there you go, bonehead move right there. But it was, hey, they give you a tool, as non-sophisticated as that is, but it still give you one. And of course, you've got this insert here, hardened steel insert, to interface with your blade, and lockup is probably about 30%. Not bad. And you got this roto lock on here, which is not, I'm not digging this. I never have been a big fan of this, but it is what it is, folks. I mean, it's like their claim to fame. They're so proud of it, and it's like I ain't that proud of it. But in any case, you got the spine is crowned here. This roto lock, you can turn this baby doll here like that, and you probably didn't see me turn it because my big fat fingers are in the way. But you can turn it, and then you can't disengage this. So you turn it again and disengage it like that. And so you can disengage it, but I mean, I've had one before, and I think it wasn't set up right, but it just kept defaulting and falling into the lock position automatically. So I think this was kind of loose, and it was just rotating, or the way my finger was hitting it was actually engaging it, and so it would drive me crazy because I couldn't open and then just close it. I had to disengage. So, but in any case, right, this one's behaving, so it's nice to have it, I guess, if you want to lock it out so you don't have it failing on you. I never could figure out, I mean, you got so many friction folders and slip joints and other types of knives, how people push so hard on the back spine of a blade with their fingers in the way that they close the knife on themselves. I mean, I'm always cutting this way. I've never even had like a friction folder or a slip joint ever close on me because, I guess if you were startled and you go up and you hit the back of like a metal or whatever object, structure or something, I don't know, that it would, it could close on you. I don't know. People have done that. I don't know how they do that, but I've never done that. I've accidentally had my fingers in the way when I've dropped a blade, intentionally dropping a blade, but that's just being dumb. So in any case, I don't know. But yeah, this one's got, did you see that? It's not a heavy blade, but it's got pretty good action on it. Like that, right? There's your stop pin. No, I didn't take this one apart. And, let's get Mr. Scales over here. Scaly dude. What do you think? What do you think it weighs? What do you think it weighs? I'm going to guess. Hold on. Man, I think it feels all of, let's say 3.9. 3.9 ounces. That's my guess. I haven't looked at the paperwork. Okay, 3.56. I was going to say 4. But I backed off to 3.9. But no, I'm still, 3.5. That's not bad. Right at 100 grams even. Okay. So, I mean, it's the action's reasonably good. It's just a weird deal on these integrals. If you haven't handled one of these LionSteel flippers, this lock bar to me just seems a little bit stiffer and more difficult to disengage. I mean, there are knives that are so much easier to just disengage, but this one is a lot harder to do than a lot of them. Let me see if I got some, like the Artisan. Let me see. Yeah, like this one. This is so much easier to disengage. This one here, the Zumwalt, just so much easier to disengage. But this one is stiffer, and I don't know if it's because the lock bar's thicker, longer, or you got this over travel here, basically, with this roto lock, but it's just a little more difficult to push aside. So if you have arthritic issues in your hands or whatever, this might be a little kind of a pain. And I'm probably overplaying it a little bit. Also, another thing that kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to kind of to operate in that regard is that this is smooth. This is nice and smooth, and it's rounded. Okay, so it's smooth and it's rounded. It's really kind of hard. You can really, you could slip off of here, and they didn't do any little jimping or anything along here to help you get traction on that. So, I mean, it's kind of more of a niggle than anything else. Obviously, you're watching me operate this just fine. So, how big a deal is it? Well, no, not to me. I'm just saying, if you've had some flippers before that were just really easy to disengage and a lot more fun, yeah, that'll be that. But, also, there's not a lot of weight to the blade, so it doesn't have that hydraulic drop, which you could probably change if you backed the pivot screw up just a bit. Just make sure you're not throwing it out of center. And this one is centered. Also, you got a fairly high grind on here. Piercing, slicing. I really like the blade design. I like this handle design as well. The whole thing fits your hand really well. The ergos are really good on this knife. You got this top swedge here, but it's nice and smooth. You see how it's crowned here. So they've really finished this knife. And I know they sell for like 165 bucks. So, you got to decide. There's a lot of knives you can buy in the $150 range to $175 range that might be titanium, might be S35VN. Don't know how you feel about Schleipner steel. You can look that up, Google it, and check it out. But you know what? Overall, I still like this knife, and I think even at the $165, I don't think you're getting hurt. I really don't. And I do like this one. And I wasn't a big fan of especially the titanium SR11. And, maybe I should go back and check the SR11 aluminum again. But you know what? This, at just a skosh over a 3-inch blade and 7 inches overall, I don't know. I don't know that I need that bigger model now. And that sounds crazy coming out of my mouth. Because obviously, this is the size knife I usually like carrying. And talk about a huge difference. The Artisan Cutlery Zumwalt just happens to be laying on my table. And this thing's almost 9 inches overall. So it's almost a 4-inch blade too. So there's it's a lot bigger knife. It's a lot bigger knife. And this is the kind of stuff traditionally that I really like. Ooh, hit the detent ball. Here we go. And, get over there. Good drop. So, this is kind of more my style, but this is heavier, longer, and this is a lot lighter, very snappy, great. But the detent, well, the detent's not like a 6.5. It's a typical for most folders, about a 5.5. Could you gravity flip this one? I think it might be difficult because you don't have much mass on the blade. I'll pull it away from the camera. No, I cannot gravity flip this. It's very light. The detent's good. There's no play in the detent as well. There's no, blade play or lock rock on this knife. Yeah, and the action's really good. And I think the flipper tab is very intuitive. Yeah, it's hard to fail it. So that is pretty good detent. You might bring it to a 5.5, maybe between 5.5 and a 6. But I mean, it just feels, it's less easy to gravity flip because it's very light. But it's pretty snappy. I'm trying to fail it here. There you go. I can fail any knife. So, yeah, you got to get off of that tab quick. So if you just give it a natural stroke, bam, it really does deploy well. So, cool knife, back spacer, integral, right? One-piece frame. There's your lock bar. There's your roto lock. There's 2 screws on that insert, which they do from the outside because they can't take it apart because it's a one-piece frame. And of course, deep carry pocket clip, right or left hand, tip up only, no tip down carry. Nobody's going to cry about that probably. No, nobody that I know of. So, cool. I like it. Oh, I never did this, but here you go. Ooh, 4mm, really? Yeah, 4mm thick blade stock. Pretty thick for a little knife like that, huh? Let's get around the roto lock and all that. 0.54, 13.7. So it's still, thicker. Like the Para 2 is 0.45. This is 0.54. So it's a thicker knife. More of a handful, and actually the blade stock is thicker as well, even though it's not going to look that way because you've crowned it. But actually this is 4mm, this is 3.6, 3.7, so it's just slightly thicker, which is, kind of amazing because I don't think you need to get much thicker than what's on the Para 2. So this is 4mm, go figure. Grippy, that's not doing much for it. And there's really no jimping around here. So as far as grippiness, if this was really wet and stuff, I don't think this would be good for traction here necessarily. Even with whatever this patterning is in here, it still feels very slick. But, a good looking knife, nice light carry. But fairly, a good sized knife for a 3.5 ounce, knife. So, no, I like it. I like the design, of course, on all of the SR1, 2, whatever, SR11, whatever, all the same. This. The lines flow. You don't see the back of the blade. It all is a really good design that flows well, as far as I'm concerned, and kind of boxy, and I kind of like that, actually. I'm attracted to that. So, I like it. I like it. Do I recommend it? Yeah, I do. If it's a design that you're attracted to and you go, but I need to know if this knife is a piece of junk or not. No, it's not. It's a good knife. It's a good knife. Well built, feels good in the hand, operates well, good quality knife. I like it. I'm going to let you go. I got to run. Flanagan, what are you doing, buddy? And so we're going to get out of your hair. Hey, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, because you know what we do around here. And if you want to buy this, go to White Mountain Knives. LTK is the discount code. Get you 10% off. So if this is 165 shooters, then you know that's 16 bucks and 50 cents off. That sure makes it a lot more affordable. And it comes in orange and I can't remember, maybe black and then just regular silver. So you'll have to check that out. Maybe even green. But you know, go check it out online. Appreciate it. I'll give you the link to White Mountain Knives. I always place the discount code in there too in my description section, so you can go. I'll just give you the link to White Mountain Knives, not to this specific one, but you can type in LionSteel, 2 words on that search, and it'll take you into the knives. So to the LionSteel knives. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Yes, we do. We love them knives, so stay sharp.